Welcome back to Footstock 101 by myself Leithall in association with FootstockHub. In this video we'll continue looking at contests. Be sure to watch the video before this one to get the first part of it where we look at all the contests within the screen. And in this video we're going to be looking at the requirements of different contests and actually go through the process of building a couple of teams to see how the interface helps you to meet those requirements. Before we get started, remember that Footstock is a gambling website, so you have to be 18 plus and from the UK. Always be gamble aware. So in the last video we had a look at the contest tab up here, the three different tabs we can then go into, but in this video we need to look into the actual requirements for the different contests and actually trial entering a couple of them as well. Now we're going to stick to the general three different tiers of tournaments for the most part, and that is gold, silver and bronze. They're the ones you're going to see the most, and it's quite easy to sort of memorise the flow of them and how they work. And that's consistent every weekend, every game week. So if we start off with gold, we'll start off at the top first. As you click in, you see a pitch of lots of different positions, and this is actually what helps you to meet the requirements. But as we scroll down, we see all the matches that are involved in this particular tournament. So for this one here, it's going to be all the Premier League games that take place on the Sunday are in and in contention for this particular tournament. And then we can also click this contest rules tab, which is also very important. It shows you the entry fee, the total prize pool, the number of players that are required to enter into this tournament. So as you can see up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 players are needed for this particular entry. And we've then got some minimum amount of players from certain positions. So this is where it gets a little bit more confusing. It looks more confusing when reading it there, but ultimately, looking at the pitch, we can see that we're forced to enter at least one goalkeeper, one defender, 2 midfielders and 1 forward, and then the rest of them can be of any position. Also here, in some tournaments that we'll have a look at a little bit later, we have limits of certain star categories and certain contests. Now the gold tournaments allow 1 star all the way up to 5 star. All player cards are allowed in gold tournaments, but we'll have a look at some of the differences in bronze and silver tournaments in a little while. We've then got the star budget. Like as mentioned, although there is a budget, it's not really going to affect you in the gold. It is effectively unlimited. However many 5 stars you want in this, there's no limit in terms of that. And that's where you go for the top notch, the biggest buy-in, the biggest prize pools are always going to be found in these gold tournaments. And then finally you've got a max amount of players from a particular club. Now there are 9 players needed, but only 8 can be from one club. So you can stack up for one club, but at least one player has to be from a different club. So that's it for the gold really. As we move over to the silver, that will all look quite similar. However, this time around we've got a maximum players per category, and we can see that you're not allowed any legendary cards. So no 5 stars are allowed in a silver tournament, and you've then got a star budget of 21 across 7 players, meaning that they should average at 3 star per player. Obviously you can put 4 star players in there, but you'll then have to make up for that with 1 and 2 star players in other places of that team. Finally, as we move over into the bronze tournament, this is sort of the low budget one that we discussed, only a £1 buy-in, and it's sort of made for beginners to a certain extent, or certainly a lower budget player on Footstock. And we can see there are different requirements. 6 players are required. There's a star budget of 11, and no 3, 4 or 5 star players are allowed. Only 1 and 2 star players are allowed in this. 5 2 stars, but you have to have at least 1 star player within a bronze entry. Okay, then let's get into actually building a team here. I haven't drafted one, so we're going to do it on the fly here, try be as quick as possible. I'm going to go with a silver one because it's sort of a midpoint between the two and has a decent amount of requirements. We understand that we're not allowed 5 star players within this, and that we've got a budget of 21 players. So here we've got a few different teams playing. I'm going to look over these and look at the ones that I might want to target. So as we click into the defender category here, it only shows defenders, obviously. Shows us our star rating. This star budget bar at the bottom here will fill up as we go. We always need to keep an eye on that and sort of monitor that as it goes. You have to forgive me here because I'm doing this on the fly. I'm not doing my research. Always do your research in contests and look for player injuries, who's going to be playing, predicted lineups, etc, etc. So now I've filled up all the required positions. I need to have at least 1 defender and 2 midfielders, but other than that the other 4 players can be from any position. So I'll click down here and it now shows me any players. At the bottom here I can see that I've used 8 of my 21 stars, meaning I've got 13 left for these last 4 players. So now we'll continue to select some more. Okay, so I've picked 4 any players there, and we've now got 7 players in the lineup, all meeting the requirements. We've met the star budget of 21 out of 21. We've used all our stars up there. This is probably going to be an entry that will definitely change, but we've got a couple of Chelsea players in there, a Leicester player, a couple of Spurs players, and a couple of Liverpool players. So we can then hit enter for £5, and it will say success. Give it a second, and it will then actually fire us into the entered screen where we can track all our entered tournaments, and at the bottom here we can see the silver. Now this can be edited at any point up until the deadline, so this will definitely be one that I revisit at 11 AM tomorrow morning when the Chelsea lineup comes out, and I might can reconsider the whole thing, but I've got a bit of a draft in there now that's entered, and I can fiddle with that at any point. So in summary, there are lots of requirements to get your head around, and they can all be found within a tournament here. But in general, the Footstock interface does a really good job of helping you through the process. And like I said, by using this pitch, clicking these different positions, it forces you to meet the right requirements for the positions, and you just have to monitor the star budget at the bottom. Now forgive me here, I'm just doing an example by putting 2 star players across the board here, and that therefore takes us over budget. And as you can see, I can now not enter this team. It quite clearly shows that I'm over the budget. Therefore, I need to remove one of these, and we can use these filters up here to sort by 1 star players. It will then give me some 1 star options, fire them in, and I'll then be able to enter. Now that is a team that I'm certainly not going to enter because I've just picked the first players that popped up, but hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. And in general, this will all come with practice, so make sure you get involved in those free rolls when you can. Hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next installment of Footstock 101.